Think about what it would be like to live with a mind so trained that no obstacle could steer you off your path, where impulses do not control you and emotions do not drag you away. A life where you react with wisdom and not with rage, where you decide with calm and not from chaos. This seems difficult, but it is possible with practice and time. The Stoics knew this. While others lived trapped in their emotions, they cultivated inner clarity, not because they were cold, but because they had worked on their minds. Today, I am going to show you how you can get there too. If you apply these 8 choices with patience and consistency, you will stop reacting like 99% of people and start acting like the 1% who dominate themselves and conquer their destiny. I want you to know that these techniques require practice and time. Deep changes are a process, not an event. Personal growth is not linear, and some days will be harder than others. That is normal. If you are going through a particularly difficult period, do not hesitate to seek the help of a professional. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Before we begin, go to the comments and write, "Today I start training my mind." With that, you are making a commitment to yourself to develop the mental strength that will transform your life. Write it now and make it real. Do not miss any of these lessons, especially the last one, which is the most powerful of all. But before we begin, if you find value in these videos, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay up to date with the latest content. Let us begin. Lesson 1. Cultivate daily discipline as a sacred ritual. Your daily discipline is like a spiritual muscle. If you do not train it, it atrophies. If you do not use it with intention, your life fills up with chaos, distractions, automatic habits that do not belong to you. Every ritual you repeat becomes a mental pillar, and that pillar defines your emotions, your decisions, your actions. You cannot have an extraordinary life if your discipline is ordinary. You cannot hope for excellence and consistency if all day long you feed mediocrity, excuses, and compromises. Just as the body is sculpted with constant exercise, discipline needs its own training. Every repeated ritual becomes identity, and therein lies the great power and the great risk. What you repeat settles in. What you tolerate in your habits grows. If every day you feed rituals of mediocrity, your brain programs itself to see only limitations. If every day you tell yourself that you're not disciplined, that it is too hard, that you will start tomorrow, you will end up living according to that script. But if you start replacing it, if you train your discipline to focus on excellence, on what depends on you, then everything changes. Not because the world becomes easier, but because you become stronger. Sacred discipline requires daily reverence. It is not about being perfect one day and giving up the next. It is about a silent training that is cultivated in everyday life, by choosing excellence when everything goes wrong, by stopping mediocrity before it becomes a habit. Your environment shapes your discipline without you noticing. You cannot claim to have sacred discipline if every day you feed it with noise, drama, or toxicity. You must take care of what you let in and surround yourself with stimuli that raise your standards. Today's effort is tomorrow's advantage. Maybe today you do not see the result. You will have days where you feel like nothing is changing, that you keep falling into the same loops. That is normal. Personal growth is never linear. But if you keep cultivating your sacred rituals with patience, you will progress. Epictetus said, "It is not things that disturb us, but the opinion we have of them." That opinion is shaped by your rituals, and your rituals grow stronger when you treat them as sacred. Do not wait for everything to be calm before you start. Start now in the middle of the noise, because that is where the sacred rituals are forged that will support you when everything else wavers. If you are ready to make your discipline a sacred ritual, go to the comments and write, "Today, I transform my discipline into a sacred ritual." Let that not just be a phrase, but a patient commitment to yourself, because the more sacred your discipline, the more free you can become. Lesson 2. Learn to talk to yourself like your best friend. Talking to yourself like your best friend is one of the most powerful forms of self-leadership. It is not about lying to yourself with empty phrases, but about developing an internal relationship based on constructive encouragement and kind truth. The way you talk to yourself determines not only how you feel, but who you become. Most people are their own worst enemies. They talk to themselves in a way they would never tolerate from a stranger. They criticize themselves with a cruelty they would never direct towards someone they love. This internal violence creates a constant state of war between your ambitions and your actions. Imagine a friend is going through exactly what you are living. How would you talk to them? With what patience, what understanding, what encouragement? You would never say to them, "You are useless, give up." You would say, "This is difficult, but you can do it. You have already overcome worse than this." That energy, that kindness, is exactly what you need to direct toward yourself. Kind internal dialogue is not complacency, it is strategy. When you talk to yourself with respect, you free up creative energy. When you talk to yourself with cruelty, you waste energy on internal resistance. A mind that supports itself moves forward more effectively than a mind that sabotages itself. Replace destructive criticism with constructive encouragement. Instead of "I am a disaster," say, "I am learning from this experience and improving." Instead of "I will never manage this," say, "I am progressing at my own pace and every step counts." Instead of "I am not good enough," say, "Every day I am becoming a better version of myself." If your inner dialogue is excessively critical, or if you have persistent thoughts of self-deprecation, this may signal that professional support could help you. There is no shame in seeking help when you need it. These language changes are not cosmetic, they are neurological. Your brain does not distinguish between truth and repetition. What you constantly repeat to yourself becomes your subconscious reality. If you repeat to yourself that you are incompetent, your brain will look for proof of your incompetence. If you repeat to yourself that you're capable, your brain will look for proof of your capabilities. Develop an internal dialogue of a coach, not a critic. A critic destroys, a coach builds. Treat your mistakes as data, not verdicts. When you fail, do not tell yourself "I'm a failure." Tell yourself, "This approach did not work. What can I learn from it?" Forgive yourself for your imperfections. Self-compassion is not weakness, it is wisdom. You cannot hate yourself into a better version of yourself. Only intelligent self-love can give you the energy needed to truly transform. Epictetus taught, "You are an actor in a play that the author wants short or long. Play your role well." But before playing your role well, you must first talk to yourself like someone who deserves to succeed. If you are ready to transform your relationship with yourself and become your best ally, go to the comments and write, "Today I talk to myself like my best friend." Let that be the beginning of a new way of treating yourself, because the person you spend the most time with in your life is you. Lesson 3. Master the art of starting now, not tomorrow. Mastering the art of starting immediately separates dreamers from achievers, planners from executors, talkers from doers. While 99% of people put things off until tomorrow, you can act now. This habit alone can transform your entire life, because all dreams die in waiting, and all extraordinary lives are born in immediate action. Tomorrow is the graveyard of ambitions. How many projects, ideas, and transformations have died in that seemingly innocent word? Tomorrow I start exercising. Tomorrow I launch my project. Tomorrow I change my life. But tomorrow does not exist. There is only now. Procrastination is not a time problem. It is a fear disguised as logic. I am not ready. It is not the right time. I need more information. These phrases seem reasonable, but they hide the fear of imperfection, the fear of judgment, the fear of failure. Break with the myth of the perfect moment. There will never be a perfect moment. There will always be an excuse, a distraction, a reason to wait. Conditions will never be ideal. The perfect moment is now, with all its imperfections. Understand the 5-second rule. Your brain has exactly 5 seconds to sabotage a good intention. After those 5 seconds, resistance sets in and the excuse takes control. As soon as a good idea appears, act within 5 seconds. No time to think, no time to doubt. Action. Action generates motivation, not the other way around. The more you wait, the more resistance grows. The more you act, the more momentum builds. Reduce friction to a maximum. The greatest enemy of action is complexity. You want to exercise? Prepare your things the night before. You want to write? Open your document now. Do not confuse preparation and procrastination. Preparing is good. Over-preparing is fear in disguise. How many people spend months preparing for things they could start today? Preparation without action is intellectual self-sabotage. Embrace imperfect action. You do not need to be 100% ready to start. You need to be 20% ready and learn by doing. Experience teaches more than theory. Action reveals real solutions that reflection can never discover. Use the law of inertia to your advantage. Newton proved it. An object at rest tends to stay at rest, but once in motion, it wants to keep moving. It is the same for you. The hardest part is starting. After that, momentum carries you. Understand that action cures anxiety. Anxiety grows in inaction and diminishes in action. When you act, even imperfectly, you take back control. You go from victim mode to actor mode. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Difficulty diminishes with action. The more you act, the more you build confidence. The more you build confidence, the more natural action becomes. If you are ready to break the cycle of procrastination and become someone who acts, go to the comments and write, "Now I act, now I begin." Let that be your new mantra, because in 5 years, you will regret the things you did not start more than the things you attempted. Lesson 4. Practice calm as an automatic response. Practicing calm as an automatic response distinguishes leaders from reactors, masters from emotional slaves, stoics from victims of their circumstances. In a world that glorifies agitation and rewards reactivity, the one who stays calm possesses an invisible but decisive advantage. Calm is not the absence of emotion, it is the mastery of your reactions. It is not indifference, it is controlled power. In a noisy world, your calm becomes your most underestimated superpower. We live in a culture that confuses reactivity with passion, chaos with intensity, drama with importance. But external chaos cannot become your automatic response to challenges. If you lose your calm, you lose your clarity. If you lose your clarity, you lose the ability to make good decisions. Calm is a conscious choice, not an accident of personality. When someone attacks you, you can choose anger or calm. When a problem arises, you can choose panic or reflection. This capacity for conscious choice is your most underestimated superpower. Train yourself to breathe before reacting. 3 deep breaths can completely change your response to a situation. In those few sacred seconds, you take back control. You go from reactive to creative. Conscious breathing is the simplest and most effective technology you possess. When emotion rises, breathing accelerates. When you control your breathing, you control the emotion. That is physiological, not mystical. Calm gives perspective. In agitation, you only see the immediate problem. In calm, you see the global context. Decisions made in calm are always better than those made in intense emotion. Practice intelligent emotional detachment. What happens to you is not against you, it is simply what happens. This perspective changes everything. You stop taking events personally and start seeing them as neutral challenges to solve. Develop your comfort zone in discomfort. The more you train yourself to stay calm in difficult situations, the more your zone of calm expands. What used to stress you no longer affects you. You develop emotional immunity. Calm is contagious and magnetic. When you stay calm in the storm, you inspire others. You become a lighthouse of stability in an ocean of agitation. True leadership comes from calm, not chaos. Do not confuse calm with indifference. Being calm does not mean not caring. It means caring intelligently. You can be deeply concerned about a result without being emotionally disturbed by the process. It is important to note that some strong emotions need to be expressed healthily rather than suppressed. Calm does not mean stifling your legitimate feelings, but choosing how and when to express them constructively. Marcus Aurelius noted, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Calm comes from this deep realization. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. If you are ready to make calm your superpower and transform your reactivity into mastery, go to the comments and write, "Today, I choose calm," as my automatic response. Because in an increasingly noisy and chaotic world, your calm becomes your most powerful competitive advantage. Lesson 5. Train yourself to deserve the extraordinary training. Yourself to deserve the extraordinary means understanding that excellence is not an accident, it is preparation meeting opportunity. Most people want an extraordinary life with ordinary efforts. They want champion results with amateur habits. You can do the opposite. The extraordinary is not reserved for others. It is not a question of innate talent, luck, or privilege. It is a question of preparation, standards, and consistency. But you must prepare to receive it before it arrives. You must develop the mindset and habits of someone who deserves the extraordinary. Act as if you already deserve what you want. Your actions must be consistent with your ambitions. You want an athlete's body? Eat and train like an athlete. You want professional success? Work with the excellence of a professional. You want quality relationships? Behave like someone of quality. The universe does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are. If you are someone who arrives late, the universe gives you more situations where you arrive late. If you are someone excellent, the universe gives you more opportunities for excellence. Raise your standards without negotiation. Your current standards have created your current life. If you want a different life, you must adopt different standards. Not gradually, but immediately. Excellence is not an act. It is a habit repeated until it becomes an identity. Stop accepting mediocrity as normal. Society has programmed you to accept good enough as sufficient. But good enough is never good enough for someone who aspires to the extraordinary. If you accept mediocrity in one area, it seeps into all the others. Invest in your development as in your future. The extraordinary requires extraordinary skills. These skills are not acquired by accident. They are bought with time, energy, and often money. Every euro invested intelligently in yourself comes back multiplied. Do not seek comfort, seek growth. Comfort is the silent enemy of the extraordinary. Everything that is truly extraordinary requires regularly stepping out of your comfort zone. If you can reach it from your couch, it is probably not extraordinary. Surround yourself with extraordinary people. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If those 5 people are mediocre, you will be pulled toward their level. If they are extraordinary, you will naturally be pulled toward their level of excellence. Develop an owner mentality, not an employee mentality. An employee does the minimum to avoid trouble. An owner does everything necessary to get results. An employee avoids responsibility. An owner seeks it and embraces it. The extraordinary demands ordinary sacrifices. You cannot have everything at the same time. While others watch television, you study. While they socialize without purpose, you build. These sacrifices are investments in your extraordinary future. Ordinary people see effort as a punishment. Extraordinary people see effort as a privilege. They understand that every drop of sweat today is a deposit in the bank account of their extraordinary future. Epictetus taught, "Become who you are." But before becoming who you are, you must decide who you want to be. Once that decision is made, every action becomes a vote for that future version of yourself. The extraordinary is not a destination, it is a way of traveling. If you are ready to raise your standards and live according to the criteria of the extraordinary, go to the comments and write, "I choose to do the difficult because I deserve the extraordinary." Because the ordinary is overcrowded and underpaid. The extraordinary is waiting for you, but only if you accept to prepare yourself to deserve it. Lesson 6. Transform your solitude into a superpower. Transforming your solitude into a superpower means mastering the art of being fully present with yourself without needing validation, distraction, or external company to feel complete. It is discovering that the most important relationship in your life is the one you cultivate with yourself. Learning to be alone without feeling lonely is one of the highest forms of emotional maturity. It is not about fleeing the world or closing yourself off to human relationships, but about discovering that your fundamental wholeness does not depend on any external presence. If you do not learn to enjoy your own company, you will end up looking in others for what can only come from within. You will become dependent on external validation, constant distraction, other people's presence to feel alive and worthy. Voluntary solitude is not a punishment, it is advanced mental training. It is an opportunity to reconnect with your authentic essence without the interference, opinions, and expectations of others. We live in a culture obsessed with external connection that associates being alone with social failure or depression, as if a person's worth were measured by the number of people around them. This cultural programming is deeply false and limiting. Being alone by conscious choice is an act of personal power. It is declaring your emotional independence. It is affirming that you do not need constant noise or perpetual validation to feel alive and complete. Chosen solitude strengthens you because it forces you to look inward without the possibility of escaping into external distractions. You cannot truly discover yourself in the midst of constant social noise. You need silence to connect to the deep and essential. It is in this inner calm that your real answers emerge, your authentic desires, your true values. When you stop constantly reacting to other people's expectations, you finally start truly listening to yourself. Silence becomes a mirror that never lies. It sends back a version of you unfiltered by other people's opinions, undistorted by social expectations, unmasked by the roles you play to be accepted. This authentic version is often more powerful than you imagined. The one who truly knows themselves never betrays themselves again. When you know who you are at your deepest core, it becomes practically impossible for the outside world to confuse or manipulate you. You no longer accept just anything, just to avoid being alone. Paradoxically, when you master the art of being alone, all your relationships improve dramatically, because you no longer desperately wait for others to save or complete you. You no longer need, you choose. You interact from a place of emotional abundance, not scarcity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Seek to withdraw into yourself. No place will give you more tranquility." He had discovered that the deepest peace is not found in a geographical location, but in your capacity to be fully present with yourself. If you are ready to transform your fear of solitude into love of your own company, go to the comments and write, "Today, I choose myself as my best company." Because when you learn to be authentically full of yourself, you stop begging for other people's presence and validation. Lesson 7. Master the art of choosing your daily influences. Mastering the art of choosing your daily influences means understanding that your mind is a fertile garden where everything you sow ends up flowering in your reality. The influences you allow around you play a decisive role. Every conversation, every piece of content you consume, every book you read, every person with whom you share your energy is a seed planted in your subconscious. Some seeds nourish your potential. Others contaminate your mind and limit your possibilities. The tragedy is that most people leave these influences entirely to chance. They consume anything, spend time with anyone, without realizing that they are programming their own limitation. Your 5 main influences shape you relentlessly. It is not just the people around you, but also the books, podcasts, social accounts, and environments you frequent. Everything you consume becomes an integral part of your internal dialogue. If you surround yourself with mentally poor influences, you will develop a poor mindset. If you surround yourself with satisfied mediocrity, you will normalize mediocrity. But if you consciously choose high-quality influences, you automatically raise your level of thinking and action. Do a ruthless audit of your current influences. Make a list of the 10 people you spend the most time with and the 10 types of content you consume the most. These elements sculpt your reality more deeply than you imagine. For each influence, ask yourself these questions. Does this person lift me toward a better version of myself or pull me down? Does this content inspire me to grow, or does it only entertain me passively? Immediately eliminate clearly toxic influences. That person who complains constantly without ever acting, remove them from your circle. That content that feeds your fears instead of your capabilities, stop consuming it. You are not obligated to keep influences that sabotage your growth. Eliminating toxic influences is not cruelty, it is strategic intelligence and mental self-protection. Actively seek influences that elevate you. Identify people who have accomplished what you want to accomplish and find ways to spend time with them. Read books by the true masters of your field. Understand that your social circle determines your personal ceiling. The people you spend time with define your mental limits. If everyone around you earns $30,000 a year, it will be difficult for you to imagine that you can earn $100,000. Invest financially in high-quality influences. Pay to access the best educational content, the events where exceptional people are found. This expense is a strategic investment in your development. Become yourself the positive influence you would want to have around you. Instead of waiting for others to elevate you, take the initiative to elevate others. Marcus Aurelius, despite his enormous responsibilities, wrote his philosophical thoughts daily so as not to contaminate his mind with negative influences. He knew that the world always offers distraction and mediocrity, but that true power lies in the conscious choice of one's mental influences. If you're ready to take total control of your influences and elevate your mental environment, go to the comments and write, "From today, I consciously choose influences that elevate me." Because you inevitably become what you consume mentally. Lesson 8. Train your mind to be your constant refuge. Training your mind to be your constant refuge means developing the extraordinary capacity to create a sanctuary of peace, clarity, and inner strength that travels with you everywhere you go. Your mind can become either your greatest ally and your safest refuge, or your worst enemy and your cruelest prison. A trained mind becomes a portable and indestructible refuge that no person and no circumstance can ever take from you. No matter where you are, no matter what happens to you, you always carry with you a space of peace and clarity where you can withdraw to find your balance. The tragedy of most people is that they are prisoners of their untrained mind. They passively endure their thoughts instead of consciously directing them. They are victims of their emotions instead of being their sovereign masters. A refuge mind does not automatically react to every external stimulation. It does not panic at every problem that arises. It remains centered, stable, and resilient, no matter what is happening in the outside world. Develop the capacity to return to your emotional center at will. Your center is that calm mental space where you can observe your thoughts without being swept away by them, where you can feel your emotions without being controlled by them. Practice active meditation during your daily activities. You do not need to sit in a lotus position to meditate effectively. You can meditate while walking consciously, breathing with attention, observing your thoughts while you work. Create mental anchors for difficult moments. Develop soothing phrases, comforting mental images, breathing techniques that you can use to quickly return to your center when everything around you is going wrong. Train yourself to see your thoughts as clouds passing through the sky of your consciousness. Your thoughts are not you. Your emotions do not define who you are. You are the conscious observer who can always choose what to focus their attention on. Develop stoic equanimity in the face of the highs and lows of existence. Equanimity does not mean indifference. It means intelligent emotional stability. You can be pleased with success without becoming euphoric. You can be disappointed by failure without sinking into depression. Cultivate gratitude as a non-negotiable daily practice. Sincere gratitude is the most powerful antidote against negative thoughts and downward mental spirals. When your mind tends toward negativity, redirect it toward everything you can be grateful for. Transform your destructive internal dialogue into a kind personal coach. Instead of letting your inner voice constantly criticize you, train it to become your most faithful supporter. Talk to yourself exactly as you would talk to your best friend. Understand that true freedom is mental, not physical or material. You can be physically free, but mentally imprisoned by your fears. You can be physically limited, but mentally free and fulfilled. Develop the capacity to find inner peace in any external situation. Whether you are in a palace or a prison, rich or poor, you can maintain a mental state of deep peace and authentic serenity. It is important to recall that these techniques complement but never replace professional psychological support if necessary. Developing this mental strength takes time and constant practice. Marcus Aurelius, who governed the Roman Empire in the midst of constant wars and crushing responsibilities, found his peace in writing these immortal words. You can withdraw into your mind at any time. No retreat is more peaceful than the one a man finds in his own soul. If you are ready to make your mind your safest refuge, go to the comments and write, "My mind is my fortress, my peace and my power." Because when you truly master your internal world, the external world ceases to have power over your happiness and serenity, and there begins your true invincibility. If you have made it here, write in the comments, "Today I start training my mind. I am a Stoic." Now tell me which lesson marked you the most. Which lesson resonates most with your current situation? You do not need to apply all 8 at once. Choose the one that speaks to you most and start there. Perhaps it is the lesson on internal dialogue that calls to you, or the one on calm, or the one on discipline. Write in the comments the lesson you are going to put into practice first. This progressive approach is far more effective than trying to change everything at once. Remember that these tools complement, but never replace professional psychological support if necessary. Personal development works best when it integrates into an environment of global support. Be patient with yourself. Transformation takes time and requires constant practice. I invite you to subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment so that YouTube recognizes that these videos are useful for people like you. This motivates us to keep creating similar content in the future. I suggest you watch the 2 last videos we recommend. I sincerely thank you for your time and support. See you in our next adventure.